What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for our Monday Night Raw review for February 21st, 2022. We are 2 nights removed from the Elimination Chamber, where Brock Lesnar became the WWE Champion again, and pretty much everything else was predictable as possible. So, we are on the road to WrestleMania, and tonight, in the main event, it would be Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens versus RK Bro. If Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens win tonight, they are added to a tag team title match 2 weeks from now. Also, The Miz, after getting beat by Rey Mysterio on the kickoff show at Elimination Chamber, vowed to have found a new partner to help him take on the Mysterios at WrestleMania. Who would that be, and how much of a disappointment would it be? And pretty much nothing else. Brock Lesnar opens the show. Damian Priest took on Shelton Benjamin, got a match for next week for the United States Champion against somebody else. Tommaso Ciampa wrestled with Finn Balor versus the Dirty Dogs, leading into a match tomorrow night between Dolph Ziggler and Tommaso Ciampa. That's basically it. There's nothing else I can really say. So, we're on our way to WrestleMania. No high or hair of Cody yet in WWE. Yet, there were at least The Miz and Edge also came back tonight too, and laid down the challenge that nobody has answered so far. But Edge and The Miz both threw little teases out there making you think that maybe Cody could be The Miz's partner, or Cody could be the guy who answers the challenge to Edge in the future. So, Cody's definitely coming in. We don't know when. We don't know where. We don't know if he's going to be at WrestleMania or he's going to be saved till the night after, which would be probably fucking stupid because they're needing as many names as they can for WrestleMania. Honestly, they need, Cody in WWE, right now to give people a reason to go and watch WrestleMania. If you say, no, we're going to hold him off until the night after, which if it was just a normal, if it would have been last year, and they were just coming out of Raymond James Stadium with a 25% capacity, I could understand maybe bringing somebody in as with somewhat of a name on the day after WrestleMania. But this, they need names. They're trying to get Stone Cold Steve Austin out for a match at WrestleMania this year. That's how desperate they are. So to try and hold Cody Rhodes off until the night after WrestleMania, which is a possibility if they want to, because that, of course, Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is the biggest night of the year not named WrestleMania. It could be any of that. But we did get some teasers in promos tonight of Cody Rhodes possibly being here tonight. So Brock Lesnar comes out, he's got this fucking wool sweater on, dude, how the fuck I know he's big, beefy and everything, but it's how the hell is that guy walking to the ring with that on and not sweating bullets? He gets to the ring and he immediately takes it off. Crowd's chanting Suplex City. And I'd said this on social media. I'm how crazy it is. 10 years ago, in 2012, Brock Lesnar, the night after WrestleMania 28, made his return. 10 years ago. F5 John Cena, one of the biggest pops they had in 2012. F5 John Cena, and was just a heel from then on. Comes back every so often, wins WWE Champion, Universal Championship, just carries it to the next, to when he's gonna lose it, defending it every few months, and people just getting tired of it. But if you would have told me 10 years ago that in 10 years' time, Brock Lesnar is going to still be in WWE, he's going to be a multi-time WWE champion and other world champion, which isn't around yet for another 4 years, that he is going to be the most over babyface in WWE. I would have told you you're fucking crazy. You could have said this 6 years ago and I would have said you're fucking crazy. The fact that Brock Lesnar comes on to Monday Night Raw as the most over guy in the company is crazy. But he is. This guy is more over than Damian Priest. Damian Priest is cold as ice. Randy Orton is probably the only other guy just as over as him. But no, this guy, Brock Lesnar, who had been heel since his return in 2012 till he lost to, who was it? Drew McIntyre in 2020. We didn't see him at all the rest of 2020 and most of 2021 because of the whole COVID thing. He wasn't going to come in without crowds. But Brock Lesnar comes back, has a hairdo, has the beard, has this farmer look to him. This version of Brock Lesnar has got to be the most likable version of Brock Lesnar I have ever seen, and it is absolutely insane. Another thing about this version of Brock Lesnar is that this guy looks like he's having fun. Brock Lesnar, it felt like for years, was just going through the motions. Hey, pay me this much money, I'll come in, I'll beat up everybody, I'll win the WWE Championship or Universal title, and take it home and do nothing with it for about 6 to 8 months, and then come back and lose it. This guy, this is the most, since he made his return, outside of that first few months where they did the whole, him trying to be, like, Brock Lesnar, like, and it's funny because Paul Heyman came back to be by Brock Lesnar's side because Brock Lesnar did not like to talk. Brock Lesnar hated to be on the mic. But look at him now, the dude is a freaking comedian out there, giving you, like, just bits and just laughing and smiling and just, like, he was coming to the ring and he goes over to this kid and he's like, kid, put it there. And the kid didn't know what to do, so the kid eventually took the kid's hand and put it on the WWE Championship. Which, that was a very awkward moment, but it's like, this dude is on a whole different level than I have ever seen Brock Lesnar before. It's absolutely insane. Like, for years, it's just like Brock Lesnar was fine just sitting there, doing the whole let Paul Heyman talk for him. I don't know what happened between the time that he lost the title to Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 36, the WrestleMania the WWE was wished to never talk about again because for different reasons, to his return at SummerSlam last year. Like, something changed with this guy, and he is just all about, he's on the mic, he's talking, he's having a good time, the smile looks real. The dude just looks like he was on the Pat McAfee show a couple days ago, and the dude just looks like he's having the time of his life. And I never thought I'd see that about Brock Lesnar, or say that about Brock Lesnar at all. I mean, this guy was just, hey, Vince McMahon, pay me millions of dollars, I'll come and do what you want me to do. As long as you pay me the big bucks, we'll be cool. I don't know what it is, but, like, this Brock Lesnar, if he wants to stick around, like, I'm sure after WrestleMania 38 right here, that he's going to go away and we won't see him again for, like, the remainder of the year. Honestly, if WrestleMania 38 against Roman Reigns is his last match, it wouldn't surprise me because they really have nothing left for Brock Lesnar to do. He put over Drew McIntyre. He's put over Roman Reigns multiple times. He's going to put Roman Reigns over at WrestleMania. What more is there to do for Brock Lesnar? Nothing really. He could just probably be one of those guys stuck to the Saudi shows, and that would be a shame. But, like, it's just so weird to see Brock Lesnar 10 years ago not really wanting to be on television, doesn't really want to have the mic in front of him. Brought Paul Heyman back after Paul Heyman was unceremoniously fired from WWE in 2005 or 6, whatever year it was. I think it was 2005. I think it was 2006. After ECW One Night Stand, ECW December to Dismember, and now just look where he's at, and it's just wow. But he's like just smiling, everyone's chanting Suplex 30. He thanks everyone for his chant and introduces himself as a new heavyweight champion. Live here in South Carolina, he goes and thanks the crowd again, but Paul Heyman interrupts from the stage and the boo stood up. Lesnar isn't happy, he says, as Heyman is slowly walking to the ring. He's like, Paul, that best be the closest you come to this ring. Basically, because if you come no close to this ring, I'm going to fuck you up. Roman's not here for you, and he's going to have to pay your medical bill. So, he gets Brock Lesnar goes along with a "You suck" chant. Heyman says the special counsel to the tribal chief does not suck. He says the only special counsel to the only real heavyweight champion in WWE. He gives his introduction to Roman Reigns. He says he didn't come here out of disrespect, but he's here for the love and the 20 years of business and friendship together. He knows Lesnar is so myopic looking at the WrestleMania 38 match. But there is a roadblock for Brock Lesnar, farm boy. And he may not make it to WrestleMania as WWE Champion. He says he always took care of the small details for Lesnar, such as him having to defend his title Saturday, March 5th. Gee, what happens the day after March 5th? Is it a little pay-per-view known as Revolution? Yeah. But it's going to be happening in Madison Square Garden. He says this means Lesnar won't make it to WrestleMania as champion. He thanks Lesnar and says he just let him know if he needs any more information. Lesnar says he can still appreciate Heyman even though he's such a dick, which Heyman did not like that at all. He already knew what he needs to be. Heyman asked Lesnar if he knows he has to defend against Bobby Lashley at MSG. But if Bobby Lashley can't pass concussion protocol, a.k.a. Bobby Lashley is not going to pass concussion protocol because Bobby Lashley is out with a major shoulder injury due to the match they had at the Royal Rumble, which if you go back and watch that match, I'm not surprised with how many suplexes he took and landed on the same shoulder over and over and over again. Like, either Lashley was too big for Brock Lesnar to suplex right, or Lashley didn't, rotate or whatever right. But he says even if he can't pass concussion protocol, Heyman will still make sure he has a worthy opponent big enough for Brock Lesnar. He says he will see Lesnar at the Garden. And he says, newsflash, I'm doing just fine without you. Points at his title. Thanks Heyman for telling him where he needs to be and will now tell Heyman where he will be Friday night in the ring in Hershey, PA, next to his little tribal chief, demanding some acknowledgement. Guess where Lesnar's going to be? Heyman's like, Saskatchewan? Lesnar's like, wrong. I'm coming to SmackDown. Introduce Heyman and Reigns to the new WWE Champion. Drops the mic and fans pomp. Heyman walks to the back. Lesnar raises his hat to go to the crowd, and they cheer him on. Yeah, so this is WWE desperate to get tickets sold to Madison Square Garden. WrestleTix probably has a nice little number out there saying that WWE's not selling well in Madison Square Garden. They didn't sell well last time in Madison Square Garden, which I believe was not the show on SmackDown in MSG. It was actually, I think, around Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve time, around that time where they do their holiday after Christmas or around Christmas time tour. They always go to the Garden. And they didn't sell well at all. But here's the thing. Bobby Lashley is not going to be at the Garden. Bobby Lashley is having his shoulder looked over tonight and going to see what is going to happen with his shoulder, which he's gone to Dr. Andrews. And the question we have to ask is, how long will he be out? They're saying 4 to 5 months. He's going to miss WrestleMania. What else can you say? So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, who they're going to have him wrestle. It doesn't really matter. They could have Brock Lesnar face off against Kofi Kingston, Big E, Seth Rollins. He just killed Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Matt Riddle, and brutally murdered Austin Theory inside the Elimination Chamber, which, oh my goodness, Austin Theory, I didn't watch it, but they showed the replay of him F5ing this guy. Yeah, so, here's the thing. MSG, Saturday, March 5th, Road to WrestleMania. Available tickets, 4,265. Total tickets distributed, sold, 5,316. Seat capacity they're set up for 9,581. That's a 55.5% seat filled seats. There's a reason they're putting that match on the line. They're putting a title on the line at Madison Square Garden. Which, if it wasn't Brock Lesnar, 9 times out of 10 when you go to Madison Square Garden, the titles are always on the line anyway. But it all depends on who they have Brock Lesnar face. If they have Brock Lesnar go in there and face AJ Styles, and well, we know what AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar can do. We saw it at the SummerSlam Survivor Series in 2017. That was a damn good match. But it's not going to matter. Brock Lesnar will be walking out as your WWE champion. Will they put this match on the WWE Network because they're actually acknowledging it on TV? Probably not. But yeah. 4,265 tickets to Madison Square Garden. They will not sell out Madison Square Garden. This is hilarious because I'm on this Russell Tix thing, and somebody said, "Save your money, AEW, go enjoy AEW and all that. Instead, AEW is New York territory." And then the idiot below him said, "AEW can't even get in the Garden, LOL." That's not AEW's choice. AEW, I'm sure Tony Khan would love to get an event inside Madison Square Garden. Does this idiot not realize that Vince McMahon and the McMahon family still have veto power over anyone going into Madison Square Garden? Now, yes, I know AAA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan had some shows inside Madison Square Garden, but that was because Madison Square Garden was like, "Fuck this shit. You haven't used us. You've been using the Barclays Center over our arena for major shows, so we're gonna go out there and we're gonna go get some shows for us." But there ain't no way Tony Khan's going to be able to walk up to Madison Square Garden or call them and be like, "Hey, we want to book a show here." Ain't going to happen. People are stupid. So, yeah. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how we have morons. We don't have morons. We have dumb fuck retarded WWE shells thinking that WWE is going to sell out Madison Square Garden just because they put Brock Lesnar on the show in a WWE title match against an opponent that they don't even know yet. It's going to be one of those things that it's at Madison Square Garden. They're not going to tell you who he's facing until the day of the show. It could be an AJ Styles. It could be a Damian Priest. It could be anybody else. Does it matter to the home viewing audience? Absolutely not. Why? Because this match will not be seen by us unless you have fan cam footage. And more than likely, it'll be somebody that Brock Lesnar goes in, hits the F5, 1, 2, 3, and ends the night going on to WrestleMania. Moving on here. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens were talking backstage with Kevin Patrick. Interrupts. He mentions how they are top stars, but their path to WrestleMania 38 isn't clear. Owens calls Patrick and says they do have a plan. They go on to reveal that they went to WWE officials and they want to be RK Bro again. They will be added to the Raw Tag Team title match against Alpha Academy and RK Bro in just 2 weeks. Then the possible WrestleMania will be endless. Rollins laughing leaves, telling Patrick, which they did also tease that maybe, just maybe, they win the tag team titles, and then they'll go to Friday, and they'll challenge the Usos to champion versus champion. Maybe WWE is going down this route. I don't think it's going to be these guys, because apparently Kevin Owens is supposed to be facing Stone Cold Steve Austin. But whoever the Raw Tag Team Champions are, I could totally see WWE going and merge and having a title for title on those titles, and then you have winner take all for that as well, and the only thing left that's not merged that needs to be merged will be the women's championships, which here's how you could get through that. You have Becky versus Bianca and Ronda versus Charlotte night 1. The winner of those 2 matches goes to night 2, champion versus champion, title for title, and the winners becomes the women's champion. Not the Raw, not the SmackDown, but the women's champion. Plain and simple. Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits they're not even a championship contenders match, just a non-title match. And I'm thinking, we've seen this match somewhere before. Oh yeah, that's right, we had this match last week with the Alpha Academy. Won. We go to the ring, and out come the Street Profits, Montez Ford, and Angel Dawkins. They head to the ring with their solar cups, back to commercial break, back from break, and here come the tag champs. So, we have this match here. They dominate the majority of it. Ford goes to scoop Otis, which is very impressive. I guess he's getting pointers from his wife. Otis falls on top of him since he can't get him over. Gable assists with the pin, even though he didn't need to. He got in there a little too late. 1, 2, 3, and the Alpha Academy are your winners. Pretty short, decent. It was a decent match. Short, sweet, to the point. And the Street Profits lose again. I'm glad the Alpha Academy aren't being treated as joke champions who just go out there and lose every non-title match because WWE likes to do that. They could have did this and 50-50 booked it and said, hey, let's do a fatal 4-way if Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens win this tonight. But thankfully, they didn't do that. See what happened last week with Tommaso Ciampa and Dolph Ziggler at ringside. Kevin Patrick's backstage with Ciampa asking how he's feeling pressure ahead of tonight's tag team match against the Dirty Dogs. Ciampa feels no pressure and will take Ziggler on any night. Bobby Roode is just the added bonus. He knew just the guy to call to be his partner tonight, and Finn Balor appears, and the fans didn't even pop. Balor says Raw might be his home, but he will never forget where he came from, and he certainly never forget stepping in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa. They may have stood toe-to-toe many times in the past, but tonight, let's start the road to WrestleMania 38 by standing shoulder to shoulder. Walks off as the music hits, and we go to the match as Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa take on the Dirty Dogs. Obviously, this match is happening because WWE is so desperate, so desperate to get people to tune in. They want that young crowd to tune in to watch Braun Breaker and Dolph Ziggler fight over the NXT Championship. And I'm like, nah. Nobody cares about Dolph Ziggler any other time of the year. Why should we care about Dolph Ziggler now? So, the Dirty Dogs, Tommaso Ciampa, and Finn Balor have this match here. This is, of course, Finn Balor's first appearance since losing to Austin Theory back on January 1st. January 17th. So, he's been gone for a little over a month. So, we have this match here. It was okay. I mean, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, they're all great wrestlers inside the ring for sure. So, of course, is that they're building to tomorrow's match, which is Tommaso Ciampa versus Dolph Ziggler. The winner goes on to face Braun Breaker, probably at Stand and Deliver, possibly. Roode shows some frustration. Balor escapes from a suplex, nails a sling blade. Ciampa tags back in, runs into Roode's elbow. Roode leaps off the second rope, but Ciampa nails him with a midair big knee. Roode blocks the fairy tale ending, but with a backdrop, but Ciampa rolls him through, gets the pin and the win, and Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor get the win. Which tells me that probably tomorrow, Dolph Ziggler's winning, Tommaso Ciampa's on his way out of NXT. He's probably going to be coming to the main roster. He's probably going to be on Monday Night Raw. They're making him feel like a big deal right now, but we all know how this goes. That when it's all said and done, Tommaso Ciampa will become just another name and a number in the car. He's just going to be another cog in the machine, and that's how it goes. Then we go from this wrestling to Miz TV. Long story short, Miz is teaching. He says, this is the line. He says, this person comes from a fighting family. He's very dashing and a global celebrity. And there were idiots online thinking, oh my god, he's bringing Cody Rhodes. Cody's going to be his teammate. Which would be very ironic if Cody Rhodes came into WWE and the very first thing they had him do was be a heel. Why? Because for the last year, Cody Rhodes in AEW has been sitting around saying, I will never turn heel because you guys had my back, and I want to show you why I'm such a goody two-shoes. So, it'd be fucking hilarious if it would have been Cody. Before he could say anything, here comes Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Rey says whoever this outsider is can go right back where he came from and give his WrestleMania moment to someone who deserves it. Miz says he knows what's best for the industry, not Ray, not Dominic, and certainly not the fans. Dominic speaks up and defends his spot in WWE because Miz questioned, man, do you even deserve to be here, or did Daddy just get you your job? Dominic says, I've been being brought to events in WWE since I was 7 years old. I've watched him. The promo was meh. Dominic's promo is not the best. We can just all admit that. He's not one of the best promos out there. That he knows what these men and women go through with blood, sweat, and tears. And he deserves to be in this spot. His dad sure as hell got him in the right spot. Miz calls for the fans to get at their seat and welcome his new tag team partner. Not Cody. Logan Paul. First off, do you really think it would be so WWE to bring Cody Rhodes back, and the very first thing he's going to do is wrestle with the Miz, tag him with the Miz against Ray and Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania? That would have been the biggest downgrade for Cody, but it would have been just what he deserves. Plain and simple. He comes out, he hits the ring, chest bumps the Miz. Miz attacks Dom. Logan attacks Ray. They beat up the Mysterios, throw them both in the ring post, and both of them hit Skull Crusher finales. Dom gets hit by Logan Paul, and Logan Paul's Skull Crusher finale looked like shit. I do not give a shit about this. This is piss break worthy right here. Miz went from teaming with John Morrison to take on Damian Priest and Bad Bunny in what was a decent match last year to teaming with Logan Paul to take on Ray and Dominic Mysterio. So instead of giving us Ray versus Dominic 1-on-1, you give us this. I would have rather seen Ray versus Dominic 1-on-1. Plain and simple. Kevin Patrick is backstage with the tag team champions. They asked about tonight's main event. They at least, okay, bro, earned their title shot while Seth and Kevin just complained to get a chance for the title. Chad and Gable realized their odds go down if Rollins and Owens are added to the title match, but he and Otis are confident that they will retain regardless of who they are defended against. Honestly, I think they should, but we'll see what happens in 2 weeks' time. Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Trash. Again, with this stupid match. Again. Why? Why is this match happening? Again. And again. And again. Rhea Ripley hits Riptide. I really don't care. How many times does Rhea Ripley have to beat Nikki Trash for them to end this garbage? I don't know. They give us an update on Bobby Lashley's injury at the Elimination Chamber. They aren't going to tell us exactly what happens with his shoulder. Just they're going to say he's in concussion protocol. Instead of, you know what you could have done? You could have debuted somebody. Beating up Bobby Lashley. Attacking his shoulder. Making him his life a living hell. Like, just not taking him out of the chamber and taking his spot. You could have had somebody who feels like they should be in this chamber take out Bobby Lashley and take his spot and then give us he got his shoulder was destroyed. No, they went with concussion instead. We get the long and awesome video package for The Undertaker's Hall of Fame, which was fantastic last week. It was fantastic again tonight. Honestly, I heard Solomon Monster talk about this on his Sound Off. I would be okay if they made Undertaker the only induction this year. We don't need anybody else. This is the night for The Undertaker. The Undertaker, it's inducted by Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Glenn Jacobs, Triple H, and who else? Those four right there at least. That'd be the first time we've seen Triple H since his heart scare. But those four guys get to spend time talking about The Undertaker, get 10 minutes or 20 minutes each. And then after all of them get to talk, and if we want to, Vince McMahon, but Vince McMahon does not like doing anything in front of the camera if he doesn't have to. And talking like this would not be something he wants to do. But those four guys at least talk, give their stories, it's just the night for The Undertaker. Make it a half an hour because it's a 2-for-1 special. You have SmackDown and then right after SmackDown, the Hall of Fame. Just make it for The Undertaker in 2022. He's the only guy who goes on. He's the only guy who needs to go in this year. Let these guys talk about The Undertaker, give their stories, their praise, their ups, their downs, and everything else. And then The Undertaker, that's like for the first 30 minutes, like the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. You give them 30 minutes, you give The Undertaker 30 minutes plus, and then everyone goes home happy. The problem with doing the Hall of Fame right after SmackDown is the fact that it's going to be in the same building as SmackDown. Why would anybody want to sit there for 2 hours for a boring-ass episode of SmackDown to then watch the Hall of Fame? And trying to do a full class of Hall of Famers is not a good idea. Why didn't they just say, well, we're going to have the Hall of Fame on Thursday like they were going to at WrestleMania last year? Or whatever, like WrestleMania 36 and WrestleMania 37. Just have the Hall of Fame then, and then have have Hall of Fame on Thursday, SmackDown on Friday, NXT on Saturday morning, which is very stupid. Especially with the NXT 2.0 brand, Stand and Deliver is not going to sell at all. Then WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, then you go from there. That's just me. So, yeah, if they really wanted to, you could have, like I said, you could have 4 guys induct The Undertaker. The Undertaker spends as much time as he wants just talking about everything from the time of his career and everything, and then you go off the air with just The Undertaker getting everything and being the only man going into the Hall of Fame. Damian Priest versus Shelton Benjamin, I do not know. This was not they really gone away from the championship contenders matches recently, if you've noticed. Every time, I don't remember when the last time they had one, but Shelton Benjamin faced Damian Priest. This was a non-title match, not a championship contenders. The tag team champions faced Street Profits. It was not a championship contenders match. Maybe they finally realized that, hey, that's a really stupid idea. Damian Priest wins this one. It wasn't even a contest, really. South of Heaven chokeslam. Benjamin gets hit with the Reckoning. 1, 2, 3. That was that. He raises the title out. He gets his mic. He gives props to Benjamin for being only one of the few who will come out and fight him like a man. He says there's a list of world champions and defeated serious athletes who have stepped up, but he's remained United States champion. He says now this is WrestleMania season. He wants his next opponent to match that caliber. He says next week he is volunteering his title in a match, but he wants this opponent to be someone world title caliber. He introduced himself as champion and asked who was going to try and take that from him. Drop the mic, go to lead, but out comes Finn Balor. Balor says if Priest wants to face a serious athlete, a serious fighter, a world champion level opponent, then it sounds like he's talking about Balor. He wants Priest to be careful what he wished for and says he will see him next week. And that is that. So, Balor versus Priest for the United States Championship next week. We see a bunch of stupid shit. They do a bunch of dumb shit with the 24/7 stuff. I just don't even care. And pins him with the Greco-Roman lick lock, and that is that. They run, everyone runs after him. They get away. I do not care. Out comes the number 1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair. I just don't even care about this match. I would have cared about this match if Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch had a banger at SummerSlam, and then Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair lost, or won, whichever way you want to go, probably lost. And then Becky. But the fact that they had Bianca Belair lose in 26 seconds, or 27 seconds, whatever it was, and then lose again and again and again, I don't care. They have given me no reason to fucking care about Bianca Belair. I really don't care about babyface Bianca Belair. The only time Bianca Belair, to me, was at her best was when she was in NXT as the bitch heel full of herself, who didn't give a shit about what the fans thought. She was who she was, and it didn't matter what the fans cheered or booed her. She was who she was. But now she just feels like, honestly, it feels like she's in this position because it's for the culture. I'm going to say it right now. It just feels like they're putting her in the position she's in so they can be all, look, we're doing stuff for the culture. And it's like, I don't even care. She talks. She doesn't even feel believable. She just feels so forced in what she's trying to say. And it's like, her going out there and saying she's the quickest, the fastest, that's a heel gimmick. Going out there and saying she's the bestest, the fastest, the quickest, the strongest, and all that stuff, that should be a heel gimmick. Somebody who is so full of themselves that they don't think their shit doesn't stink. They think they're the best and the best of the best. But they're having her be this babyface, and it's just sickening. It really is. This woman needs to be a heel, but the fact that she and Montez Ford are on the same brand, and Montez Ford is probably not going to be heel anytime soon, it's just, I can't care. Becky comes out. She mentions about how she beat her in 27 seconds at SummerSlam last year, and how this is all coming back around. Again, I would care more if we didn't see this match again and again and again and again. If we didn't see Becky Lynch beat her and punk her out in 27 seconds at SummerSlam. Like, yeah, she's going to get a win back probably, but who gives a shit? I don't. I know a lot of people don't. It's like, you've given us this match time and time and time again. I don't care. Speaking of matches you give us time and time and time again, here comes Piper Niven. As it's Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven again. Again, how many times does Bianca Belair have to fight Piper Niven before WWE says, no, that's enough, girls. No more. There was no reason for this match. Becky Lynch was on commentary, which I cannot fucking deal with. I just don't care for Becky on commentary. The fact that they you need to reverse the roles. Becky should be the babyface that everybody loves, and Bianca Belair should be the heel that everybody despises because she's so full of herself. She thinks she's better than everybody else, and it works so much better. But they want to go and have Bianca Belair be this phony, fake-ass piece of garbage babyface that nobody should give a shit about. And yeah, her picking Piper Niven up into the KOD, yeah, it's impressive. Her suplex of Piper Niven was not as impressive because she wasn't able to lift her up. The fact that Piper Niven had to pretty much jump to make it even work, just meh. She wins, don't give a shit, moving on. We get a video of Black History Month of WWE Hall of Famer Booker T following visiting kids at Oak Cliff in Dallas area. Good for him. Back for break, and the announcers plug Corey and Carmella, the CNC series coming to YouTube next Monday, which is supposed to be the raunchiest, raunchy and racy and unfiltered WWE show since the Attitude Era. And apparently they're supposed to be 10 4-minute episodes, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the point? If it's really only 4 minutes, what's the fucking point? If it's not 30 minutes to 40 minutes, then nobody should give a shit. What can you do for a series at 4 minutes each? No. Edge comes out for his promo. He says the smell of WrestleMania is in the air. He calls being a fan and being amazed at WrestleMania 3. He goes on about getting on the WrestleMania card. He interrupts himself and says it's good to be back. He talks about finally getting on his spot in his first WrestleMania. He talks about stealing the show on TLC with Hall of Famer Devon and two other the two tag teams on the greatest show ever. They stole the show, and he's thinking about Devon, who just had back surgery. He goes on about how some of his WrestleMania moments and congratulates The Undertaker on his Hall of Fame induction, as he deserves it. He talks about retiring from WrestleMania when he fought for 8-10 years to get back to WrestleMania, and he did that last year, 2 years ago, if he thinks about it. And he dreamed about WrestleMania, and he still does the same as an adult. Edge mentions how his fans give him the energy he needs to be phenomenal. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge to AJ Styles. And he's even raised his eyebrows to the words, which sounds like a reference to AJ. Edge says WrestleMania makes him everything and everyone around him better. When he steps up, he says he needs WrestleMania. He says WrestleMania 37 is being called the most stupendous two-night event in WWE history, but he says he can't call WrestleMania that without him, and he says he needs a match at WrestleMania, and WrestleMania needs him. He issued a challenge to the locker room and says he needs someone to step it up. If he wants to prove yourself, stand up across the ring from the legend, certifiable legend. He will make you a legend forever at WrestleMania. He tells the boys to step up, and he drops the mic. He did also mention about saying that he needs like something about being undeniable, which is a hint to Cody Rhodes, because Cody, in one of his first promos in AEW, was he went from being undeniable to being like, what was it? From being unreliable to undeniable. And that's where that came from, of course. So people are thinking maybe Cody. Well, apparently we don't know yet because nobody came out and interrupted him. So we get to our main event. Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens versus RK-Bro. Obviously, Kevin Owens did make a shot at Texas earlier, saying that if he and Seth Rollins could be taking the tag team titles to WrestleMania, it would make going to make it bearable going to Dallas, Texas. So the tease to Stone Cold continues. It was pretty much a carbon copy of what we saw 2 weeks ago, a week ago, whenever it was. But Seth Rollins Kevin Owens gives Matt Riddle the stunner. Seth Rollins gives him a stomp. 1, 2, 3, and they move on to that night. 2 weeks from now, will we have new Raw Tag Team Champions in Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins? Most likely not. Who's going to go to WrestleMania, and are we going to get a tease at Tag Team titles or title, just like the WWE and Universal Championship? Honestly, I would hope so. You don't have enough tag teams on Raw or SmackDown to make a division. Hell, you don't even have enough tag teams, really, as you have it now, to even make you have barely enough tag teams maybe to make one division. But, yeah, Monday Night Raw, it's meh. I just don't even care about Monday Night Raw. It's just getting to the point where WWE has to do whatever they can. They're throwing teasers out left and right that Cody's coming in, so obviously he's coming very, very soon. Would they be stupid enough to leave him off WrestleMania? Yes, they would, because that's how WWE works, even though they need names. Why do you think they've advertised a match at Madison Square Garden with Brock Lesnar for the WWE title? Yet dumbfuck retards in the WWE shills think, oh, well, it was at 55%, they're going to sell out now. They didn't even sell out tonight. And Brock Lesnar was on the show. They didn't even sell out tonight. I don't think they're going to sell out Madison Square Garden. And anybody like, oh, well, AEW can't even get into Madison Square Garden. That's not up to them. That's up to Madison Square Garden and up to WWE. You dumbfuck retards. Get it through your head. Nobody is allowed, nobody in a major wrestling capacity is going to be allowed in Madison Square Garden. The only reason New Japan, Ring of Honor, and AAA did it was because WWE was giving Madison Square Garden the cold shoulder, and Madison Square Garden had enough. Have you noticed how the WWE has been going back to the Garden a lot more since? Exactly. Brock Lesnar, of course, continues to be the highlight of Monday Night Raw. Alpha Academy is doing great, too. Damian Priest is cold as ever. No AJ Styles, probably selling his stuff. No Austin Theory, because he was absolutely... I think Austin Theory is probably in a morgue in Saudi Arabia, because he was absolutely murdered on Saturday. But that is all for your Monday Night Raw review. It was a piss-poor show, outside of course, Brock Lesnar and a couple other little spots here. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Frowns Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the Frowns Club. And find me on Instagram at the Frowns Club. Until then, my name is the Frowns, and I'll see you guys later.